third volume of the TA Speakers Management Inspire Excellence Speaker Series. So excited to be here with you all today. The purpose of the series really is to highlight inspirational speakers, thought leaders on different topics related to their expertise that really just helps others live healthy, happy, and more fulfilled lives. Today, I'm really excited to talk about the art of starting over and resilience in the face of adversity with the incredible Kris Chau, who's an entrepreneur coach, entrepreneur herself in the events industry, mentor, and speaker. So she's here today to tell us a little bit more about her story and how she was able to transform, not saying the P word, that is a swear word in the events industry, transform her life and business when it was impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Kris, as mentioned, is a longtime event entrepreneur herself, coach, mentor, and speaker, and she's living in Nicaragua right now, guys. I am jealous. Don't know about you. Wish I was there, Kris, with you. She's a true inspiration and really an example of what it takes to embrace resilience, change, and push ahead to live a healthy, happy, and more fulfilled lives. Please join me in welcoming the wonderful Kris Chau. Hi, Kris.
Oh, hi, Tammy. Thank you so much. That was such a wonderful introduction. I'm really honored to be here.
Thank you. And thank you for taking the time. And I'm really excited. You know, we had a chance to meet a few months ago through a mutual friend. And I was like, Kris is just awesome. I need to get her on here and I need her to share her story because she just got you just have a lovely, wonderful, inspirational story that I think people are going to take a lot from today. So I'm excited to dive a little bit more into resilience and starting over. So I do have some questions for you. So the first question that I would have is, can you tell us a little bit about what you did prior to the pandemic and how your business was impacted?
For sure. So yeah, March 2019. Dun, dun, dun. Who knew? So I used to, as you mentioned, run an event production company, and I had done that for over 10 years. And so I've run the gamut and doing, smaller corporate social events to charity fundraisers to non-traditional weddings. But realistically, when it came down to it, I re-envisioned my business a few years ago and I said, I want to be doing things that are culturally transformative. They're impactful for our city. I love the city of Toronto. I'm born and raised there, even though I'm living here in Nicaragua right now. And so that's what I did. I worked on a lot of really amazing large scale projects. And, on one of the other projects that I had developed was I was going to produce Canada's first premium rum festival. That is something that we have not seen yet. And it's something I would still love to bring to fruition. However, the pandemic had another thing in store for me. So yes, everything was sort of put on the back burner. At that time, I think, we're a bit naive. We were rescheduling for the fall. We were being very hopeful. We were saying, things will get back to it. And so in the meantime, while that was happening, I said, okay, what am I going to do? I've never been out of work. I don't know what to do with myself. So I just jumped in and got myself busy. I was volunteering on a board of directors for a hospitality fund. I was producing online segments for the rum brand, the rum festival brand. I was also helping my boyfriend, who is a musician, produce online concerts from our living room. So I was utilizing all of my event skills for sure, but I was doing this and I was so burnt out. I think we were all going through this collective trauma. I wasn't dealing with that. Mm-hmm. And so finally, about, the beginning of the summer, I said, whoa, I need to take a step back. This stuff is really, lot time consuming. It's not really making me happy. And also I wasn't even being compensated for any of this. So what am I doing right now? So I took that step back, took an opportunity to breathe, reassess what was happening, reflect on what was working, what wasn't. And it sort of led me back to coaching. And so that's what I'm currently doing now as an entrepreneur coach. And the reason why I ended up here is I had an opportunity previously to be an operations manager of an advertising agency, and talent and culture management was a big part of that. And it was a big part of what I loved. I loved meeting new people. I loved being that face. I loved teaching them about what we did and how we did it. And so that was something I started then and revisited at the end here of, the summer of last year. And so I serendipitously met the coach that I worked with. And he works with specifically helping coaches start their business or, sort of kickstart theirs. And I also, my partner and I, we said, all right, I think there's a lockdown coming. Fall is happening. A lockdown is going to be coming. We're spending extremely crazy high rent here in downtown Toronto. I'm not working. I'm going to start a new business. I think we need to figure out a new life, a new place to live. And what does that look like? And for us, we had traveled to Nicaragua before, and we also knew somebody here on the ground. So we could ask questions, we could get an understanding of what COVID was like here during the pandemic, and it seemingly was pretty good. And the cost of living here is a lot less. I'd say at least half of what it is in Toronto, which is a significant savings. So it was kind of a no-brainer for us. We actually decided and packed up our lives within 6 weeks. Like, we sold off a bunch of stuff, we stored some, and we made it down here. It was not easy, but thankfully with my event background, my logistics brain, I was able to make it work for all of us. And so that's where I am here doing this.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. And it was funny when you were like, oh, I had a chance to slow down and like actually reflect. Yeah, that doesn't happen in the events industry. Like, we don't slow down because we're just so used to like go, 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 go and taking on multiple things. And like it's such a crazy busy industry that like we feel like that's our normal, that we need to be that all the time. So, right. So I love that you took, this is, nobody wanted COVID to happen. If we were to go back, I would say, please don't happen. But, I think in your case, it's a nice story of like, you took this adversity and you were like, okay, what can I do for myself? And maybe this is a sign. I deeply believe somewhere that this was a sign for all of us to slow down in some way, even though I would never wish it to happen. So thank you for sharing all that in that journey of just like getting to Nicaragua and why you chose it and all of that. I absolutely love that. So thank you. So now I'd like to dive a little more into, how did you truly start over? So like so you talked about how you got to Nicaragua, but what did it take within you to do so? Like, how does one, like, because that takes something, right? Like, it's not like you can just be like, okay, whatever, I'm moving. Like, it's going to happen that way. Yeah. So what did it take in you to make that happen?
Yeah, I think that, being somebody who is adventurous and spontaneous to begin with was already a good base there. Having said that, like I said, with the pandemic, there was a lot of fear and anxiety that came up with it. And it also started to create self-doubt within me. And for me, a lot of the work that I did with my own coach really helped me put myself in this mindset that taking a risk and betting on myself and doing something that I feel is going to be worth it for me and my partner and our lives together was really the catalyst for us making that decision. It's not, for everyone. I understand that there's different people who have different circumstances, whether you have children, pets, all these kinds of things. Having said that, if you really want something, you can figure it out. You can make it work. And for us, it was just the desire was there. It was the fact that we were both on the same page was really important.
Sure.
And, like I said, going through a lot of the mindset work that I did with my coach really helped me feel like I was in a comfortable place to take on this leap of faith.
Wow. I love it. And it really is all about the mindset, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is. Like, it's like your mind can be a really awesome thing, but I've learned also, and I think most of us have, it can also be a really dangerous thing. It's like this, I guess it's like around that whole, like, we want to protect, it's like the fight and flight, right? We want to protect ourselves from like a risk. So immediately your brain is like, no, red signal. Like, this is like new. I don't know what's going to happen. It's not certain. Yeah. Right. But it's like when you actually say, no, I'm not going to listen to that. Like, I'm going to just push through that because this is something that I really want. I love that. So I think, we can all take a lesson in just like, it's our mindset that we work on and, how to take that leap of faith.
Yeah, I don't think fear is going to be prevalent, I think, throughout our lives. And, there'll be certain situations and we can't necessarily always overcome that or be positive all the time. It doesn't happen. But I think what is a really good realization for people is that you have the strength in you to push through, and that you can do things despite your fear. Your fear can actually be a motivator. I'm afraid to do this, but I'm gonna do it because I don't want fear to win.
Yeah,
that's how I sort of psych myself up when I have friends who dare me to do something, jump off a cliff and all these kinds of things, and I'm like, no, because I don't like heights. But at the same time, I'm like, but I don't like to fail, and I don't want fear to take over. So I'm going to do this.
Oh, I love that. I try. Oh man. And when we were recent vacation, I tried to jump, but I couldn't do it. My fiance did, but I was like, I just couldn't. And I'm not afraid of heights. So there you go. So holy, good for you for doing that. No, I love that. And I loved how you said, I don't want fear to win. It's like, no, fear is not going to win this one. I love that. I love that determination. That's awesome. Thank you. So my next question for you is, I'd love to know a little bit more about how you help entrepreneurs and what are the most common barriers you're seeing to success over and over again. And this could be for entrepreneurs, but also I think it can relate to anyone really. Is there some common barriers that you're seeing to success with people over and over again?
Yeah. So for myself specifically, I'm working with service-based solopreneurs. And the reason being is I used to be one. I used to navigate the world of entrepreneurship on my own. And I don't want that for my clients. Essentially, I am the business partner they need to bounce off ideas, to keep them motivated, keep them accountable, to help them strategize, but I don't share the profits. So it's kind of a win-win. And a lot of the work that we do is rooted in mindset and then strategy. And the reason why we start with mindset work, and we've kind of touched on it already, is if you are not in the place to really believe that you are capable of growing your business, that you deserve success, that you can overcome fears and push through and take risks that are going to, take you somewhere. If you're not in that headspace, any of the strategy or operations work that we do together is really not going to come to fruition as well as it could be. Whereas, we start back with the foundation, your mindset, because that is the foundation for you and your business. And so one of the things that I find, and because I actually work with a lot of female solopreneurs, right. And I find a lot, especially with women, is that we are not necessarily confident in owning who we are and articulating that and actually asking for the value that we offer. I often have this tagline, unapologetically own who you are, because I truly believe that that's what makes you unique. And people want to be seeing you as a relatable, authentic person. So embrace who you are. Don't apologize for showing up as you are. There's no need to apologize for asking what you deserve. All of these things are things that you deserve and should have. And to own all of that is a really big part of it. And so I know that solopreneurs and women, especially tend to downplay, their offerings, what they have to give to the world. And I'm here to tell them, no, we're not going to apologize for that. We're going to embrace that, and we're going to shout it from the rooftops.
Oh, I love that. I can't even say that. Unapologetically own who you are. You go, girl. I love that. And I can relate. Yes, as a solopreneur, female solopreneur myself, definitely the mindset is like I said, it's a dangerous thing and it's a great thing. But I love that you go mindset and then strategy. I agree. You need to be in the right mindset to be able to work on the strategy that it will actually work. So thank you for sharing that was really insightful. My next question is, I'd love to know, what do you love most about what you do now that's different from what you loved about being an event producer for your own company?
Yeah, for sure. So the biggest thing and the reason why I got into coaching is I love people and I love helping people. I always have, and that's just been in my nature. And so now I get to do this for a living. And, when I get to see people have breakthroughs, when I see people hitting the milestones that they want to achieve, it makes me so happy to see other people succeed. I really want people to realize their full potential, because I think that sometimes, we kind of let that light dim, as we say. And so I am here to champion you on in all of that. And so, the biggest thing, again, being a solopreneur myself, being one previously where I was starting out, not having anyone to riff off of, to say, is this how things should be set up? Is this the best practice? Is this efficient? All those kinds of things. I love being able to leverage the experiences I've had to save my clients from going through some of the trials and tribulations that I did. And also so that they don't feel alone, especially in this day and age when we're all digital, we're mostly digital, given the pandemic. Connection is so important. We've all realized that. And so again, with solopreneurs, you don't want yourself to feel like you're isolated, you're alone. I am here to be that accountability partner and that motivational partner. And so I love that piece of my job. Now, the other part we kind of talked about, and yes, it has a little bit to do with my move here to Nicaragua, but the slowing down, the slower pace of life. I definitely feel like the shift into this new industry is something that allows me a bit more of a steadier, I'm not saying slow, because it's definitely got it as well, it's peaks and valleys, but I do feel like it's a bit more steadier than on in the event industry, for sure.
I love that. And I could agree for sure. I'm sure it's a lot more quiet and steady there for sure. But I like that like you recognize and then slowed down, and then now you're actually doing, I mean, you loved what you did before, but now you're doing something that you love as well. And it gives you the same fulfillment as like the crazy event life that you lived before. But maybe not as much stress, which is kind of nice. And better taking care of yourself for sure.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. We definitely ran on a lot of adrenaline, little sleep, maybe not such great nutrition, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, for sure, my life now is a lot healthier.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And my last question for you is, what would be your biggest advice to someone who decided or was forced, like you were, to transform their life or their career? What kind of advice would you give them?
That's a great question. And, reflecting back on myself, and what happened, I would say everything is going to be okay. Again, fear, anxiety, all those things, they're natural feelings. It's okay to have that. And I think that you should feel those things, go through the process, whether it's mourning, or maybe you're celebrating because you chose to make this transformation yourself, whatever it is, feel those emotions, go through that process. There definitely, I think, should be time for that. I think, I mentioned, I didn't give myself that opportunity right at the start. I kind of just dove in and kept myself busy. But, processing all of that was really a big part of the transformation. The other piece that I would say is use this opportunity to reflect. The biggest things, there's 3 questions I think you should ask yourself. Okay. Reflect on what was working, reflect on what wasn't working, and if there were no limits, reflect on what would you want to be working for yourself. And I think that those 3 questions can really sort of give you some perspective and insight about what you might want to do in your next steps. And then, when in doubt, you can come and hire a coach. This is what we are here for, to help people through transformations and support them through their journey. And there's lots of different coaches out there, wonderful coaches, and they all specify in different niches. So finding somebody who aligns with your values, finding someone that really resonates and also is going to help you achieve the goals that you want.
I love that. Speaks to, we are stronger together, right? Like through each other's experiences and reflections and all of that. So yeah, no, I work with a coach and it's amazing. So thank you for sharing that. And Kris, if people wanted to get in touch with you, how would they do so?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. So you can find me. I'm on LinkedIn as Kris Chau. I'm also, which is KrisChau, at the Kris Chau is also my Instagram handle, and my website is www.thekrischau.com.
Awesome.
So all of those things, yeah, you can definitely find me, and I'd love to connect.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kris, for being here with us. And thanks to all the listeners out there for listening and watching. And hopefully this provided a little bit more inspiration about starting over, being a little resilient in the face of adversity, and creating something that you really love for your life. My name is Tammy Adams, founder of TA Speakers Management. And if you're interested in talking to me further about some of the wonderful female speakers that I have a chance to work with and manage and book and coach and all that fun stuff, you can certainly do so at my website, taspeakersmanagement.com, or you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, as well as you can reach out to me at my email at Tammy, Tami, at taspeakersmanagement.com. Thank you all very much, and we will see you again shortly for Volume 4.
Awesome. Thanks, Tammy.
Thanks, Kris.